Hey, thanks for tuning in. We've got a little bit of a story time, and if we haven't met yet, my name is Stephanie.
And I'm Bryce.
And we are the Lugos Realtors here with My Home Group Real Estate, serving the greater Phoenix area. So, numbers and stats are one thing, and we do a lot of that on this channel, sharing about market reports and kind of what we're seeing on the ground. I think that stories help share a lot of context and give a little bit of a closer look as far as what numbers actually look like to buyers and sellers in the thick of it. And we went viral on TikTok, or viral for us, recently by sharing this story, and it really brought up a lot of questions in terms of like how things actually work on the other side of transactions when buyers are in this crazy low inventory sellers market. And I figured it would be helpful to share that story here, answer some of the questions we got, and really provide context so that buyers kind of know how to approach situations where they might find themselves in a multiple offer situation and they're not really sure what they should do. So we're going to be touching on a lot of things here. We're going to be touching on what coming soon status is in the market. We're going to be touching on whether agents bluff about, getting multiple offers, all of it. So we're going to try to do this in as concise a way as possible while answering any questions that might arise. So clients of ours, they've been looking for a home for a little while. They are very clear on what they want, which we love for them. We want them to get a home that they absolutely love. And that does mean that some of the options that they're looking at are just not options, right? So not to say that they're picky or anything. It's just when we're looking for homes, when the right one pops up, everyone gets really excited. And so the right one popped up a couple of weeks ago in coming soon status. Now, can you just describe a little bit what coming soon status means in Phoenix?
Right.
Because
It's different.
in every state, it's different.
Right. So in coming soon, or in our MLS, coming soon is a status listing where the home can be shown to buyers or not. It's up to the listing agent and their seller. But it kind of just gives buyers an idea of a property that will be soon on the market as active. And you can only be in coming soon status for 30 days, okay, 30 consecutive days. But once you are coming soon, you do have, like I said, an option to show the home. And what it does for listing agents and sellers sometimes is it gives them an idea of how much interest there might be on a property. So in this situation, the listing agent was able to gauge the interest of the public, and apparently there was plenty. So they raised the price. They list the house about 8% higher, which, we understand. I mean, they've got interest, and it's a little bit of a bummer for these buyers of ours because, they like the home and now they're going to have to pay more for it, which you're already likely to do in this market. But it raised to a price that's still within their budget, something that they can still afford, and it's in the area that they want. It checks off so many of those boxes that we talked about. So for them, it wasn't the end of the day. And with it coming soon, we were able to schedule a showing on the day that we knew that they would be listing it. So sometimes in this market, we'll come across this where listing agents only allow showings on a certain day, or they'll start on a certain day, or it's for a certain period of time. And in this case, it was that sort of listing setup where anyone could only see it during a certain period of time, and we booked our time for that time, because had to see it, got to see it.
It was a pretty short window of time.
Yep.
It was about 90 minutes
Yep.
that was scheduled. And there are some situations where this happens, where agents will use this tactic. And the idea is to do it open house style, an hour and a half, and basically shove as many people into the house as they can. So people get to see for themselves, buyers get to see for themselves just how much interest is on the property.
And, for them, they're also not displacing their seller.
Right.
Overly displacing their seller because they only get showings at one period of time. But yeah, I mean, it also gives the perception to all the buyers that are in there that, oh my gosh, this is a super hot property, because all the buyers that wanted to see it can only see it during this period of this window of time.
And so we've seen situations where this happens, where cars are literally lined around the block.
Yep.
In this case, that did not happen.
No, when we got there, actually, surprisingly, there was no one leaving, no one in the house. We were there for probably 30 minutes touring the home. Nobody showed up, and then nobody showing up while we were leaving. And then, we talked about the house outside. Still no one showed up. So it was very strange, because you do see a lot of times where buyers will be like, okay, let's go. We got to go. This is our time. We got to do this. But in this situation, it was just us.
It kind of
For
seemed like it
one
was totally
third,
for you guys, you know?
right, for at least one third of this entire showing period, it was just us.
Hmm.
And our clients loved it. You know, they loved the home. It still fit, like I said, right in their budget, and you know they wanted to pursue it. We still had a few more homes to see, but this was the one that was on top of the list.
So you checked with the agent as we normally do. How can we make sure that we write, the strongest offer? What does
Yeah,
your seller want? And are there any offers on the table?
it's a really important thing for buyers agents to do this right now. Is you contact the listing agent, have a conversation, let them know that you may want to send an offer over and see what's important to the seller. And this is when we kind of gauge whether or not they have any offers. We ask them flat out, like, are you working on anything else? Have you received anything else, or do you expect to receive anything else from anyone who has seen the property? You know, we were told very clearly, no offers on the table. Don't see one coming in right now.
Cool.
So, what do? Clean offer, still give them everything that they want as far as terms to the contract, closing date, title company that the listing agent prefers, and then, price.
Hmm.
Price was full price. Didn't need to come up higher. Like, why are we writing any higher? Why would we? They don't have anything else on the table. And they've
Yeah.
already come up, remember, almost 10% because of the interest that they were gauging in coming soon.
Hmm.
So, we come in full price, super strong, conventional loan.
Crickets.
Well, yeah, I mean, what we expect to, typically at that point, the listing agent will confirm receipt of the offer, and had to chase that part down too, actually. It's just very strange. Maybe she's just super busy. I don't know. I'm not going to, obviously we're not calling out who this is or anything like that, but, we just didn't hear back, and it was crickets. It's really weird. You get a strong offer, you got nothing else on the table, and you're cramming all these people into one window of time, and there isn't all these people, it's just us, really, and you've got a great offer in hand.
Yeah.
And still well above your original list price.
Hmm.
So we were a little taken aback. We did finally hear back. I think it was like 30 hours after our offer submission, give or take, and got a phone call from the agent, and apparently they did have another offer. And she told me exactly what the other offer was, and it was a cash offer, and asked if our client would come up to that price. And because we were a financed offer, because we were coming up to that price, if we would cover any shortfall on the appraisal, right? And what that is if it appraises lower than the contract price, not always will the seller come down, especially in this market, but will the buyer make up the difference, because your lender will not loan on that loan at that price, at that sales price now. And so I had a conversation with our clients, and they said, yeah, we'll come to that price. We want the home, and we will cover that shortfall. And we're only talking $10,000. Okay, which it's a little over, about 2% of the price of the home, a little bit less than 2%. So from there, we're willing to do it. We gave you everything the first time. Now we've come up even more, giving you all of what you're wanting now that you're asking for. We expected a very quick counteroffer, which is what we were told we would get the following morning. Well, didn't come. And at that point, it was just super crickets, like just no contact at all. You would reach out, email, text, call every 8 hours for 3 days or whatever. We were trying to get a hold of this agent, and then we did hear from them, and where that went was, our clients want more. And the way I saw it was like, if you had another offer, you would really either have countered us, or you would have taken that other offer, which was a cash offer too, by the way. And you'd think
So they
that,
say.
right. So they, I guess what is this? The whole point of this video is, were they bluffing, right? And so they say, yeah, cash offer in hand, but then they're still engaging with our 5% conventional down, which is still a very good buyer, but at the same price as a cash offer, we're not as strong, right? Which we understood, but we're giving you what you're asking for to get the deal done, because it seemed like they wanted our client to have the home. Nice.
They just wanted to extort us along the way a little bit.
That's kind of what it felt like, right?
So one thing that comes up with this question, and we got so many comments on this video on TikTok about this, was, isn't it totally unethical for the agent to disclose that they had another offer and disclose the price? And again, this is one of those situations where it's different in every state. In Arizona, with express permission from your sellers, you can do that if it makes sense in a situation.
Usually when you get a listing as an agent early on, like right when you're signing documents, you cover this sort of bit. Like, if you get multiple offers, do you want to disclose this and see if another buyer will come up to match or even higher, and that's usually covered. So it's not unethical for her to have asked us if we would match the other offer, and here's what the other offer is, because she may have had,
It's pretty
she may have
standard way
had
of doing
written
business.
permission or even written instruction to do so from her seller, which is totally fine. The difficulty is, from our perspective, when you're representing a buyer, how do you know if she actually has that other offer?
Right. There's really no method of verifying it unless you go into different types of offers, including an escalation clause, which at this moment, why? Like, it had no place in this
There was no
conversation.
reason to, especially not initially when we submitted our offer. I mean, there was really no reason to use an escalation clause. And it's a couple of reasons that I'll explain as to why we wouldn't have. One, the first time we wrote the offer, there were no offers. And they weren't expecting any offers. And
Right.
she was, we had a phone conversation. She was the type that was, if we were to get anything, we'll come back to you guys and let you know if we get anything. So, like, why do it then? And then the second time was when she was coming back, giving us a new price, like, here's where we need to be because this is what we have. Again, why would we use an escalation offer when she's telling us this is what you need to do?
Right.
Okay, this is what you guys want. Your seller wants this price. Your seller wants a shortfall on the appraisal. Done. Like, why would we even use an escalation clause? Now, the third reason we wouldn't use one right now, just in general, is they have fallen out of
favor.
Yeah, favor.
Just standard practice. It worked in the beginning, I think, of this market cycle, but
right. I could see them working again later on. It's like when there's 15, 20, 30 offers, nobody wants to be looking through escalation clauses and
try to do that arithmetic.
Yeah, sellers and agents have really pushed that away. I mean, I haven't even received an escalation clause offer in a while, even when we have these multiple offers. Now, when there's like 3, 4, 5 offers on a home, maybe sometimes it can be a little advantageous because the seller's not having to sift through as much. But so there just wasn't a reason to do it.
And so here's what we're left with, right? We're left with sellers kind of trying to adjust their expectations to the market, really hoping that they're going to get top dollar, which I think they're entitled to, right? I want every seller to get as much money as they possibly can for their home. That's part of why realtors exist, right? To help advocate for them. I just don't know that these tactics during this time actually serve them, because at this time, so days pass, the home is still sitting on the market. It's still crickets from the other side. They're not really taking action one way or another. It's almost like they're just expecting a windfall of offers to drive up their price.
Well, it seemed like they were just dragging it on because they knew that they had an interested buyer in our clients. What they did is 3 days later, they responded and asked for more from us. Not even more money, but a larger shortfall, just to make sure that if it didn't appraise, they were going to be getting a closing. And it's still really strange because they're so much higher than their original list price. But the time that they had finally, our clients were kind of, I don't want to say like ticked off, but they're definitely annoyed that their really strong offer was
being
essentially
toyed with.
Yeah,
really.
and like they're first time home buyers too. So like their experience in this is not great now. And they're just being toyed along and now expected to just wait for the seller and ignore other properties that are going on the market. So they didn't do that. They had been trying to buy a new build for a while too. And as we've talked about in the past, that's a really difficult thing in this market, just because new build communities are releasing very few lots each month, right? And then it's a lottery system. So on the same day that she reached out to us, that's when we happened to hear from the new build community that they received their lottery. They got the lot. They got a great lot that they were wanting. And, so in the end, and we can finish talking about this, but the seller ended up losing our buyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, our buyers ended up moving on for this really incredible opportunity, which truthfully was what they wanted. They came out here wanting to buy their first home as a new construction. They had this dream of building a custom home, and that's what they get to do now.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it always works out the way it should, because this is exactly what was meant to happen all along. You can clearly see now with the benefit of hindsight, even if in the moment as a buyer, you're so frustrated and kind of crestfallen because you're like, what am I doing wrong? I feel like I'm doing everything right. Why is it still not working out for me? Well, because the right home was right around the corner in this case. And as of now, that listing that we've been discussing is still on the market, right?
Yeah, even today, like right now,
It's been a week.
It's been 6 days since we
Yeah.
wrote our very strong offer, and they're sitting active.
So really our purpose in sharing this, and I know was like way longer
Yeah,
than
this definitely got longer than we expected it to.
um our purpose in sharing this was to show context a little bit for some of these situations that you might come across. And also just to share like, look, it's really weird out there and people are acting kind of crazy in this heightened emotional market. Just stick with the process because you never know what is around the corner. Exactly as that happened for our buyers and as they found. So an interesting story nonetheless. I hope that you found some value or some perspective in this. And if you are in this situation where you've been writing offer after offer and just wondering what's going on behind closed doors, stick with the process. You never know what is around the corner. And yeah, some cross agents are going to behave the way that you wish they wouldn't. And sometimes things are going to feel kind of icky. There's just a lot of people, a lot of hands involved in this market. And I think that the best that we can do is just for you and I keep advocating for our clients as well as we can, and for the clients just to stay the course. Don't let emotion get the better of them and really stick through the process so that they can find a home that's going to work for them and be a solid investment.
Yeah, and like with any story, there's more to it even than what we've been able to share,
Mhm.
right? And there's more that we wish that we could share. And I'm not saying that this agent necessarily did bluff or acted unethically or anything like that. They could have had that cash offer, which could have pulled out also, and then that's maybe when they came back to us
Yeah.
trying to get more because the seller had the taste of more money
Right.
of some sort. So, we don't know why it happened the way that it did, but for our clients, I'm really happy with them in the end.
Yep.
For this seller, they're still on the market, and who knows for how long. And I'm curious myself, so I'm going to watch this and see where it goes in the next what 4 to 6 weeks when it maybe closes.
Yep.
But for our clients, I'm very happy for them. This could happen to anybody. We don't know if it was a bluff or if there were any unethical activities
Sure.
happening, but in the end we're very happy for our clients because they're going to get exactly what they wanted
That's
from
it.
the very beginning. So
Yeah.
thanks so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.